rocks right.
Welcome back to Liquid Lunch, and it's time for the magnetic marketing moment with your marketing magnet, Jeanette Burke. Jeanette, fabulous to have you here as always.
Yes, as always. It's great to be here. And what we're going to talk about today is what constitutes a great business card and how to go about creating it.
You know, I'm really glad we're talking about this today because we are in the process of putting new business cards together here at ThatChannel. So I'm going to take notes.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to make sure that everything that you talk about, I incorporate into my business card.
Great. I hope you and everybody else watching who's in business will do the same thing. So the whole thing about the business card is that it is a powerful marketing tool that really, in your arsenal of marketing weapons, is one of the least costly tools to create. And of course, it's the tool that really attracts your clients, and it's kind of like the first impression they see of you and your business, and it also kind of tells them about the level and the quality of level of service you're supposedly providing. Yet, would you believe it is one of the most overlooked marketing tools? Simple, but yet overlooked.
Interesting, Jeanette.
Yes. Why is it overlooked?
Why is it overlooked?
Because people in business now think that there's other options, that business cards are a thing of the past, that everything's gone digital, that their accounts on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter can do it all. And it's actually a very dangerous mistake.
All right. That makes sense. I mean, because so often you run into people face to face, you know, and that's where a lot of times that's where you're making. It's just another way to connect. So you got to have your thing in place.
It's the main way to connect and make sure people remember who you are after they've had a chance to meet you. So I would say that as a tool, a business card has very high marketing value for very low marketing cost.
It's a good place to put a little bit of thought. Exactly.
Put a little bit of thought. So that being said, because we now know why we need them, and I actually made this segment quite short today, so we'll just get into the nitty-gritties because I know we're kind of time sensitive today with our guest load. The main thing I would like to say before we get into what we should do to create it, what information should go on the card, is make mention of the fact that it is image. Your business card's image.
Okay. And
image is what sells. So it's not the place to go cheap. Not the place to go cheap. And yet so many people do go cheap with their business cards. My rule of thumb is if you're not getting complimented on your business card, it's time to change it up.
All right.
And also the key point here about going cheap and not conveying the right image is that the card basically conveys an aspect of you. And if your card looks cheap, then what does that say about you and your service?
Like, you know what the best ones are? Like when they're perforated, and you can tell it was printed on a inkjet printer.
Yes, that is actually one of the points that I have to make, is that when you give a card like that, or even a card that's very thin, paper thin, doesn't have any character to it, any feel to it, you know, it right away says that you are not on par with your competitors. And what's worse is that when you go to charge for your service, you want to be on par with your competitors in price, but you won't collect that because it's a disconnect if you pass somebody a cheap, chintzy looking perforated card and then tell them that, you know, my service is billed at $250 or $350 or $450 an hour. It's
a disconnect.
Total disconnect.
Totally disconnect.
And so that actually detracts sales from you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very important that your card and your message are very in line with the image and the level that you wish to project, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's another point. And then, of course, how the card looks, right? What information should go on the card?
That's a good question.
And
what should go on the card?
Well, number one, the card has to be pleasing to the eye and has to be laid out in a certain way that's eye-catchy, that is standing out, that makes, an impression and speaks volumes about you. So obviously the main things on a business card, and I brought a few here to show you.
I don't know if we can show these on camera, but
yeah, I want to show mine too. Okay, so comparatively speaking, okay, the number one thing is quality. This is a thick.
Let me see. That's your
thick
card.
cardstock.
It's very thick, Jeanette.
And it feels like it's got some weight to it.
It's got some gravitas.
Right.
It's got some shine.
Exactly. And so that's saying to the outside world that I am a player in my business. I'm a key player in the marketing world. You wanna show that when you pass out your card, that you're a key player in your industry.
Yeah.
And that you're not just somebody who's new and working on the minimal, because when you do that, you invite your potential customers to bargain with you and not pay you the price you command.
So
because you're not positioning yourself as an expert.
So you spend a little bit of money on your business cards,
yes,
and you're going to get that back.
Yes,
in
that
spades
is
later.
what I call a clever investment. So then, how to make that card work for you is contingent upon how you design it or what goes on the card. So of course your name has to be there, and it has to be clear. Here's an example of a business card that is so jumbled up and so small print you can't even read it. And this is not to humiliate anybody, it's just to point out the facts.
It's perforated too, Jeanette.
Yes, and here's another example of a card like that, which is very busy, too much image and not enough content and illegible. And what happens is you get frustrated, you don't want to read that kind of a card, right? Here's another one, home job,
Let me
right?
see. Right.
So comparatively speaking, to a card like this that's thick and stands out, it speaks volumes. You can see
Why,
it for
this
yourself.
is the card of Sue Kenny, who's coming on the show today.
Next. Yes. Okay, so on the card you have to put your logo, your name, and by that I mean your name and your company's name. So that could be a combination of your logo, which might include your name. I don't know, whatever logo you have. And when I say your position, I mean, like, what role do you play in this business? What is your title?
Right.
And there you want to put the key title, right? It's not relevant to put in everything you've ever done and add in your BA and your numerous degrees.
Right.
It's not relevant, and in fact, you're wasting very valuable space, because to me, it's like real estate.
Plus, I do a lot of things here, but I should not put dishwasher on the card.
No, you should put your main role. So you're recognized in that role, and people know when they see you, and then when they have this to remember you by, that's what Hugh does, or
right,
that's what Jeanette does, or that's whomever, okay?
Yeah.
Your contact number, obviously. So that'll be your office number. If you don't mind receiving calls on your mobile, I suggest you put your mobile in there too. Now, if you do have a problem receiving calls on your mobile, especially during the day, if your program or your plan isn't set up for that, don't put it there. But if you do, put it there, because it's another way to get in contact with you, and also it's also a way for people to text you, not just call you. Right. Which is showing that you're updating, you're on par with technology. Okay, a fax number should be there. I put a Skype number, because today a lot of people communicate by Skype. That's not a necessity, but it is something to think about. Your email address and your website address, obviously, because that's your online brochure that you want to direct them to for more information. And if your email address is different than your blog address, put the blog address too. If it's one and the same, just put the one. Okay? Now here's the thing. A lot of people forget to include right at the top there with their logo, the tagline. And a tagline is absolutely key, fundamental to the business, because it is the encompassing message, the one-line encompassing message that sums up what you do and how you do it, and the promise of value you deliver, the benefit statement. It should be there right at the top.
What's yours?
Mine is actually on the back, which is fine. You can do it on the back too, where it says my process, which is the magnetic marketing PR process. And it says, my tagline, all the marketing support fempreneurs, that's women in business, who is my target market. So it's saying who I work with, also very important to define, need to lead and succeed in their marketing, in their marketplace. So lead and succeed is in a different color. It stands out, it matches with the rest of it. Obviously the colors have to match, but lead and succeed is a benefit statement, right? So it stands out there. Now, color is another big thing, okay? You've got to choose complementary colors that are pleasing to the eye, that convey a proper image. And you have to decide what color you're going to put it on. So for example, white. White is a good background because it can show many different colors. But when you get into these dark blues and dark blacks, not all these colors work. Then the writing, the font size, the colors, this is essential, because if people can't read it, they throw it away, okay? So another thing is, a lot of times people like to put their face on a card, like Sue did, as well as their logo.
Yeah.
It's not wrong, it's not right. You can have a combo of the two. The good thing about having your face or your headshot on the card is it's a professional headshot and not one that you just snapped yourself because it won't look good in reprint. It has to be done in a quality of a JPEG level or higher, you know, that reprints well. Is that the studies show that people tend to hang on to a card that has your face attached to it. Or, you know, in this case, I don't need the face because my name is there and the logo, but you have to judge that for yourself. Creativity is also good in a card. I mean, this lady, I like the fact that she had a logo design like this with it's a woman's mission statement. She's also in a production company to deal with women's production, but she used a strong logo, which I mean, I collect cards all the time, and you know, different events and what have you, and I really hang on to the ones that I find memorable. Yeah. This one I liked because it had a character on it.
What about 3D? Do you think cards should be in 3D?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
But if you want, go ahead. My next point is that I believe a card can also be used somewhat as like a mini brochure. And while you don't want to clam it up and crowd it over, you do want to make a use of the available space that is there with the essentials, the logo, the contact information, who you are, what your position is. On the back of my card, I have my process, my tagline. I included my social media contacts.
Okay, I have a question.
The tags to my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube.
What about a call to action? Should you have that on your card?
No, because the card is a call to action.
What's the action?
Here's my card, call me. You want to convey the most essential pieces of information, but you don't need to say, call me on the back of your card, right? I even have this show on the back of my card with the liquid lunch and when I'm on and the co-host and all of it, right? So that's what you want to do. If you have other information, like if you're doing multiple things that are interrelated, it's possible that you're going to need another card to complement you with your main service, rather than you know, fitting everything into one card. So for example, I might have my main card for my main business. It just so happens that the liquid lunch thing fits in here, but if it didn't, I could have created another card that says, you know, Jeanette Burke co-host liquid lunch, third Monday of every month, and put the logo there, right? And give both out. So that's another point, okay? Okay, so everything I just covered is what basically captures a person's attention and makes them want to keep your card. So I would just say a couple of don't do's. Don't obviously skimp on your card. Don't lump in too much information. Don't overcrowd your card. Don't pack in things that don't belong there. Make sure whatever you put is relevant. And obviously, hand it out. Here's another big thing, okay? How many people go and get cards made 2,000, 2,500, 1,500, 1,000, whatever, 500? And they start almost like hoarding the cards, right? They don't want to give them out. Well, here's the thing, people. We print the cards to give them out. Because if you don't get business.
You know, I suspect, Jeanette, that there's so many people that do that, and they end up with a box of cards in their drawer that, you know, their life moves on, and those cards are no longer relevant, and they use them for messages or something like that. But that's a good point. While you got them, use them. right?
And another good point is, do not hand out an old card that has, if your phone number has changed or whatever, and then you just like take a piece of a line of a pen and cross it out or something and write the new number. That looks completely unprofessional. If something in your life changes, whether it's your status, whether it's your phone number, whether it's the company you work with, whatever, you've got to make the new card to go along with it. These are my points for today. I know it's a quick segment, but we have to get on with
Okay, we have to get going. But one more question, Jeanette. What about scratch and sniff? Can you put that on your card?
What do you think?
If you're in the fragrance business, maybe.
Yes, then you could give a sample of the smell. But other than that, no.
Okay. All right. All right, Jeanette, that was fabulous.
Okay,
and how do
thank
people
you.
get in touch with you if they want to follow up?
They can find me on the web at www.yourmarketingmagnet.com. They can call me at 905-882-6893, extension 1. They can email me at Jeanette, Janette, at yourmarketingmagnet.com. And I just want to quickly say that in addition to my giveaway today, which is a complimentary marketing assessment at $350 when you register for one of my Marketing Goddess intensive packages, either the Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, or Diamond level, you'll get that complimentary $350. You can also, when you go to my website, www.yourmarketingmagnet.com, sign up to receive my free book, 67 plus ways to promote yourself and make money today. It's full of great marketing ideas, including some comments about the use of business cards and the creation of business cards. That book is a free giveaway. It comes with the Magnetic Marketing Report, which is my e-zine, together value of $350. My gift to you, absolutely free. I hope that you will use this to grow your business as an entry level, and if you need more help, I'm here for you.
Fabulous.
Okay, and we're going to be right back with Annette Vass from Try Vita.
Let's all twitch together. Let's all twitch together. Wednesday is the middle of the week. That's a double meaning here at Squeak.